Hello, my name is Emma, and this is my review of the PlayStation exclusive Until Dawn. I also have a Let's Play of this game on my channel, so you can go check that out if you want to see what the gameplay is like from second to second. So Until Dawn is a choose-your-own-adventure teen slasher horror game. So you follow a group of 8 teenagers which go to a cabin, and they're returning there after some haunting events which came the year prior. Why do people never learn in these types of situations? It sort of knows and really projects this like really cliche teen horror vibe. You control all 8 of the characters in different sections of the game, and you're trying to make sure they survive the night until dawn. I want to point out quickly that this review is based on one playthrough of the game and jumping into some chapter event things to actually pick up everything, but I will make a video later on my sort of perspective after I've played through this multiple times, because there is a lot of layers on there. So, the big question, did I like Until Dawn? Yes, very, very, very much so. I thought it was great. But there is going to be a percentage of people who are not going to like this game, so please listen to this full review and you can sort of decide. So the main gameplay of this game is sort of going to make you decide whether you're going to actually like this game or you're not. If you are familiar with the gameplay of Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, the Telltale series, to a certain extent as well, Life is Strange, you will feel right at home jumping into Until Dawn. So there's a lot of Quicktime Events. There is a lot of decisions in your conversations where you can do this or that, or decisions where you can choose to go this way or that way. And the Quicktime Events are actually quite intense in some points. They also do use the actual PlayStation controller with the motion sensors really well. There's a mechanic in there called Don't Move, where at certain points you have to stay completely still with your controller. I did stuff it up multiple times because I'd sort of be shaking because I was freaked out, but I think that is probably the best motion control thing I've seen to date in the controller, so I'm happy they added that in as well. And those QuickTime Events and all that are mixed in with your gameplay of you controlling a character walking around, and for the most part you're investigating the environment, picking up clues and whatnot to solve the mysteries of multiple things which are in the mountain. The big thing that was said about Until Dawn is that you're gonna have tons of choices following a thing called the butterfly effect, where everything flows on to everything else to influence your specific gameplay. Does this work as a mechanic as well? Yes, there is a lot of depth in this. Just again, seeing my sister play for a couple of minutes and seeing different things that unfold in the beginning, which I know from playing the whole game would flip on something else in the future, is sort of crazy to me, and I'm so impressed with how well that they've actually done this. People are gonna end up with vastly different playthroughs, vastly different people are gonna be alive or not at the end of this game. I know a couple of my characters died, so I think Supermassive Game have done an excellent job of putting all those in, and that alone I think sells this game. I cannot think of a better game that is out in release right now that actually have so much at stake with each decision that you make. Like, lots of games have choices, but I've never seen a game this vastly different depending on what choices you actually make. Choices in Until Dawn are very much a grey manner as well, where there's no like specific where a general person can tell, like in Mass Effect for example, where this is a good choice, this is a bad choice. All of them are very mutual, and you've really got to put some thought into each choice that you make in terms of how that is going to affect future consequence. Even really minuscule things, like if you're in a pair going through a certain area of the game and one of them finds some evidence or something, your choice to show that other person or not can affect them later, like, oh, they're gonna get anxiety because they get freaked out because what have you showed them, or they're knowledgeable now because you showed them. There's a lot of different things which you just have to think through and make like a clear-cut decision on it, because it's not going to be black and white. Most choices that you make there are quite logical in terms of like, I could save this person, but I'm on a falling platform. If I choose to try to save them, the platform could fall. That is a decision that you can sort of work out in your head if that's worth it or not. And I'm really happy with that sort of decision thing where you can evaluate in your head the dangers. There is though choices in the game which are impossible to know, like you've got a 50-50 fork in the path and you can go this way or that way. And one way can end to disastrous consequences, which is really sort of trial and error. I personally don't really like it when they do that. I only really saw it once in the game. But if it's something that is completely out of my control and there's no knowledge and skill involved, it sort of feels a bit cheap. Also, in the choice stuff, the interrogations, where there is parts where an analyst surveys you yourself, so you can pick through a book to see what you're afraid of, and then those are added in throughout the game to sort of scare you a bit more. It's just a really nice touch, the icing of the cake, if you will, to the choices in Until Dawn. But as a whole, it is done really, really, really well. So now onto your atmosphere and your scares, because this is a horror game after all, so you do actually sort of want to get scared in it. The designers did a really good job in terms of designing the whole environment to make things look scary. Like, you've got really long claustrophobic corridors to wide open spaces. There's a lot of emphasis on isolation of particular characters, which all makes you feel sort of freaked out. There's always a build in tempo of the music when you think you're about to hit a scary moment. So they've done that whole fitting you into the horror game thing quite well. And all the environments in there as well. As I mentioned, this is quite cliche, so every single cliche thing you can think of from a horror game is in there. From chapels, you're in the lodge, there's barns, there's saws, there's all these random things which are like, I've seen that in that horror movie, I've seen that in that horror game. They've all added that in. I'm not saying cliches are a bad thing at all. I actually quite like that they've stuck that all in there, but yeah, that's the environments you're gonna hit. In terms of scares, there is a lot of jump scares, particularly in the first, say, third of the game. There is some cheap scares in this first sort of bit, like when the 5th time, which I got a jump scare from something that wasn't actually a real danger, I was just like, oh, stop doing this to me. But after you're past that initial part, like, a lot of the scares are to do with actual freaky stuff. So the actual story is quite good for a game. If this was a straight horror movie, I think people would be questioning this as to, this is super cliche, but the fact this is a game, it knows it's being cliche, and you know it's being cliche, and I think that really fits in well, and I really enjoyed how the story played out. It also obviously makes up for the cliche by A, you are actually controlling the game, and B, you're uncertain of everything that's actually going to happen. The characters in this are really likable. Like, I didn't find anyone in the whole game where I was like, oh, get away. Like, they all, again, fit into their stereotypes really well, but you can actually influence how you want each of them to interact. And there is a relationship bar in your menu, so you can see from your decisions that you've made if relationships have gone up and down or whatnot. So it's really, again, a nice touch on the characters, because you make them what they are throughout the game. There is going to be discussions from this game from people still being like, this wasn't a game, I could have watched a movie. But though this isn't really a progression in like gameplay mechanics, this is a progression definitely in storytelling in games and in the whole entertainment medium as a whole, because it is, as I mentioned a million times, interactive. I'm super, super happy that this game exists, and I really hope this is a genre that can get built on over time. Overall, Until Dawn really impressed me, from the choices to the scares to everything that ended up at the end. I had a really enjoyable time, and I was hooked the entire time through. I am really excited to play through this again and again and see how many different choices I can end up with. And I really hope this sort of solidifies this choice-based genre into being like a legit continual thing. Overall, I give Until Dawn a 4 out of 5. Thank you guys for watching this review. Remember, I have a Let's Play as well as an unboxing on my channel, so you can go check them out if you so please. If you've never seen my channel before as well, you can go watch some of my other videos. If you like them, make sure you subscribe, and go hit me up on Twitter if you haven't already. Thanks guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye!